Everyone's talking right now about Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light. Personally, I don't care about Dylan Mulvaney or Bud Light, so to me, this is basically a controversy. But a lot of people are very, very angry about it. What's it? It's this video.
Hi! Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too. Okay. Love ya. Okay, break a leg. Woo!
Yes, Dylan Mulvaney has a partnership to promote the beer brand Bud Light, and a lot of conservatives are mad about it. Let me try to explain why. First, let's start with Dylan herself. Dylan is a trans TikToker who initially went viral for deciding to post one TikTok video a day to document her entire transition from start to finish, a project she dubbed the Days of Girlhood. Dylan became a popular punching bag for right-wingers as videos from this project took off. And in order for you to understand exactly why, let's watch the first TikTok in the series.
Day one of being a girl, and I have already cried 3 times. I wrote a scathing email that I did not send. I ordered dresses online that I couldn't afford. And then when someone asked me how I was, I said, I'm fine, when I wasn't fine. So, how'd I do, ladies? Good? Girl power.
To be honest, Dylan doesn't pass very well here. She does just look like a man in a dress. That's pretty much to be expected though, since this is day 1 of her transition. That's not the only thing that painted a target on her back. The internet is full of non-passing trans people who don't receive nearly as much hate from the rightoids. It's because she's annoying. Very annoying. The type of femininity that she presents I always found grating even when it came from biological women. That sickly sweet, overly materialistic, her midlife crisis will be becoming a Karen type of femininity. Oh, it's also because Dylan started the modern iteration of the whole trans women have periods trend too, though she did it indirectly.
Day 75 of being a girl, and I've been carrying around tampons and pads for the past 2 months, but I've actually never opened one up, so let's do it! Woohoo! I thought the letters stood for small, medium, and large based on the size of your Barbie pouch, but after a Google I found out it's actually the level of your flow, so they're super, regular, and light. I guess my question is, which one do I carry around? The super? Because maybe if you have a light flow you can still use a super? I don't know. Here goes nothing. It's pink, it's kind of adorable, and it kind of looks like a butter churn. So you just go like that? Ow. Where does the string go? You are getting sleepy. Now for the real magic, I've got a glass of water in the tampon. I almost put red food coloring in there, but I thought that might be too much. And we're gonna see how this works. Oh, it kind of looks like a butterfly. How long does it take to get to this? This one looks like it would do the job. I feel like I'm in science class. Oh no. Okay, the pad didn't expand, so maybe this is for a light flow? I just don't know. Now that I think about it, I probably should have had a woman come teach me about these things. I was on the boys' side of sex ed, and now I would like to take the girls' class. But if you're on your period right now, I'm sending you love.
Yeah, I don't think that Dylan has ever actually said trans women have periods like some fucking crazies on Twitter have.
Hi, I'm Mama Rose. I am a transgendered woman. I go by she, her, they, them pronouns. And I can tell you right now, my period I experience every month is very real, very valid, and very painful.
But her consistent obsession with periods basically kickstarted the whole discourse. Oh, and it's also because Dylan has a weird thing about the word girl, too. This was the first real backlash that Dylan received, in the wake of her interview of Joe Biden, because during that initial spotlighting, she used trans girl and girl to refer to herself, rather than trans woman or woman. This is something she went into more detail on day 8 of the Days of Girlhood project.
Day 8 of being a girl, and I've gotten some messages that are saying that I need to be calling myself a woman and not a girl. And I didn't even know that some women were offended by being called girls, so that's really good to know. But for me, the word girl feels great because I never got to be one growing up. and it feels very able to make mistakes and growing and changing and evolving, whereas the word woman feels very strong and confident and powerful, and that still intimidates me a little bit. So I'm gonna keep calling myself a girl. Hope that's okay. Love ya.
And some of her newer TikToks are all about her dressing up like an actual child. This is going beyond trans stuff and is pretty clearly moving into weird fetish material. Basically, even before the Bud Light controversy, Dylan had already made a name for herself, not just for transitioning publicly and documenting it, which to her credit, yeah, she looks more feminine on day 365 than on day 1, but also for her annoying personality, her weird obsession with periods, and her even weirder obsession with becoming a little girl. So, for those of us who live on the internet, Dylan Mulvaney crossing over with Bud Light wasn't unexpected, just strange, considering that Bud is viewed as a stereotypically masculine beer brand. But for the normies, oh boy, this was a wake-up call. I even saw on my normie Facebook a guy I knew from high school who's still back in my hometown, announcing that he was dumping out all of his Bud Light and not buying any more of it. That was actually surprising. It's very rare that the internet bleeds over into my normie life. But you can find lots of people online complaining about how they're boycotting Bud now, how they're dumping out their beer, they're telling their friends, etc. One guy posted this image, "They're the queer of beer," with what is clearly a futanari fetish image on the front of the bottle. Somebody went out and found that and put that on the bottle with Photoshop. This isn't just mockery anymore. I think at least a couple of these people are thirsty for more than just beer. Kid Rock decided to shoot a video of himself destroying his stash of Bud Light.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Fuck Bud Light and fuck Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
What's funny about this is that Kid Rock had no problem with either Bud Light or trans people years ago, though I think that this was a drag queen. But the point is, in the 2000s, none of this culture war stuff was on anybody's radar. We were all doing the live and let live thing, and we were all better off for it. Nowadays, you've got alternative beer companies swooping in to take advantage of the outrage.
America's been drinking beer from a company that doesn't even know which restroom to use. That's why I created Conservative Dad's Ultra Right 100% woke-free beer. As conservatives, we're constantly getting hit in the face, left and right, by the woke mind virus. But the last place we want it is in our beer. If you know which bathroom to use, you know what beer you should be drinking. Stop giving money to woke corporations that hate our values. And to the rest of you woke corporations, stay the away from our kids.
Buy yours online in 42 states at ultrarightbeer.com.
Tastes like freedom.
Man, a sucker really is born every minute. I'm all for chasing that bag. I'm a capitalist. There are people out there selling pre-gay Bud Light on eBay, and good on them. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But seriously, guys, this is ridiculous. This was dumb as fuck when the leftoids tried to do it over Hogwarts Legacy, and it's dumb as fuck for the rightoids to do it now. Oh, do you think it's different because Bud is supposed to be a straight beer company, and making Dylan Mulvaney the face of the beer is gayifying it? Bud Light's been doing gay-themed advertisements since 1999. Hell, they've been advertising to a bunch of different demographics this whole time, as you would when you're trying to sell a product with mass appeal. In fact, just a couple weeks after the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, Bud Light released a new ad campaign, one which is clearly more targeted towards patriotic rural Americans. It could be that this is in response to the Dylan ad campaign, and a lot of people on Twitter sure thought so, saying that they won't be bought back so easily. But it's also entirely possible that a company this big has multiple ad campaigns running aimed at multiple demographics. The CEO did comment on the whole shitstorm, though, stating that we never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. We are in the business of bringing people together over a beer. The only reason I saw this letter is because Tim Pool replied to it shrieking, "They must apologize, this is not enough." Apologize for what? Having a trans woman do a sponsorship spot for what is basically piss water? Which, to be honest, was only ever posted on her personal Instagram account. So people had to go looking for it to be outraged? Yeah, Dylan's annoying and weird. I don't like her, and I don't like her content. But are you guys really stooping to the point that you're going to go after people's sponsors? You're going to deprive them of their income because you don't like their politics, or you think their fetishes are weird, or you find them annoying, or hell, just because they're trans? To the point that you're going to call in fucking bomb threats to the manufacturer? This is exactly what the leftoids do to conservatives, and if it's not acceptable there, how is it acceptable here? Now, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, Dylan's never called for the deplatforming or unpersoning of any conservative content creator. I understand the point of the consumer boycott. Gamergate contained a boycott, but that was because the people involved were actually corrupt. Is it corruption for Bud Light to hire a trans TikToker to promote their beer to that demographic? No, not any more than it's corruption for Bud Light to promote their beer to any other demographic with any other public face. Seriously, the people who are on board with this lame shit are acting exactly like every triggered snowflake who wanted Uncle Ben or Aunt Jemima washed away because of racism. They're acting like every screeching leftoid who demanded that sponsors drop PewDiePie for the gamer words, or really, anybody who's ever lost a sponsorship deal or monetization or whatever over their politics. I oppose the left when they do it, and I oppose the right when they do it. Nobody should be doing this. I've been saying for some time now that the right wing is just as hypersensitive, just as triggered, and just as repressive as the left wing is. And though they don't have the opportunity to show it yet, they eventually will. It took us a while to get here, but we're finally arriving here. Listen to Matt Walsh on this.
We are sick and tired of this. We are sick and tired of watching as our culture is claimed piece by piece by madness and degeneracy. We are not okay with it. We are furious about it, in fact. And we aren't following your lead in the fight against it because you people aren't interested in fighting against it. We're not going to sit around and wait for you to execute your master plan to win back the culture. You have no such plan. You're satisfied to let the culture crumble and decay as long as you can have a hand in ruling over the rubble. And that's how we got to this point in the first place, where transgenderism is the sort of thing that even Bud Light feels it needs to promote.
He sounds like the trans activist talking about Hogwarts. It's the same rhetoric. Hell, you know who he sounds like?
I just want the win. That's all that matters.
You call it selling out your principles. I call it fucking winning. And that's my principle. To win as a socialist.
That's why the two sides are so similar. Different goals, but the same fundamental immorality. Me personally, I don't care about this issue. Dylan Mulvaney is annoying and cringy, while Bud Light is just a shitty beer. For me, I don't like how far the culture war has taken us, to the point that everything has to be a fucking discourse. But that's what radicals do. They turn everything into a battleground. They view every space where the culture war isn't happening as their next colonization target. And it was inevitable that a new right-wing Puritan to replace the old ones would spring up to fill the vacuum. There are two sets of real victims here. The first are the average gay and trans people who just want to get on with their life and they're not part of any of this political shit. The second set of victims are all the culture warriors who actually believe in any of this brain rot. A decade ago, if you said that this was all happening because the CEO of Budweiser is actually a CIA plant, you would be put in a padded room. Nowadays, you're just as likely to get a show on the Daily Wire.